Yep.
Yeah, you switch off the music and I switch off
I can't switch it off, remember?
Oh, yeah. All right. Let me find the graphics. Hi, lovely people.
Hey, people.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Hope that you're all doing well this Monday evening. So welcome again to Gym Time with myself, Debbie, and go on.
Oh, you want me to say my name?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to say my name. Do you know?
Like and
Maurice. Hi, good, lovely people.
AKA Paul. I call him
Yes.
Paul. You guys will probably have to call him Maurice unless he says otherwise. He's effectively known as Paul because that's what we've always called him.
The funny thing about it is that because I live up north now, everybody in north knows me as Maurice, and everybody in south. So I don't mind which one. Yeah, I've grown up as Paul, so hey, I haven't got a split personality. Just put it in there.
So welcome everyone. Let us know where you are chiming in from. It will be nice to know where you are all chiming in from. Last week I had my cousins in the room, and I have my family in my house. I've been banished to one of the rooms in the house. Hi family. And believe it or not, my brother is actually in the same house with me as well.
I am. This time I'm in the same place. So my internet is working. Yeah, as you can see,
absolutely. Because I pay the bills.
Oh, wow. What are you trying to say? Hi, Marshallette. Yeah, nice to see you on. Faye, nice to see you on as well.
Hi,
St. Kitts in the house. First cousin, yes.
Hi, Mel. Hi, Auntie Dutty. Hi, Mom. Hi, everyone.
They're all here watching
downstairs on the TV. So I'm just going to say a few welcomes to everyone, and then we're going to crack on with tonight's episode. So I hope that tonight's episode will really strike your fancy. We are going to be sharing some real hard pressing topics, as we said before.
Yes.
So what I wanted to say before we do like our whole disclaimer and everything, I wanted to share about last week. And guys, I'm hot, so if you see me rubbing my face, it's because I'm hot. It's hot in this room. We really just wanted to say thank you for all of those that listened in last week. The feedback was amazing, was phenomenal. And for those that are already in, I hope that you can share on your platforms. Let everybody know that we are live. And for people to subscribe, we really need that to boost our numbers and so that we can bring you more content. So Paul, do you want to share a little bit about the feedback that you got from last week?
Yes, I got a lot of feedback. One person in particular said, I should really read it, but paraphrasing, that the topic was needed. You know, someone said that they actually agree with you as well, Debbie, with the dating, multiple dating. It's not what you said, but they said, yeah, it's true. For them, they see it as, why are you going to just spread yourself to one person who after a while you're not going to be with them, but it was, people were really happy with our first session, and I hope, that you guys will love this session as well.
Yes, I had really great feedback. A number of people watched the replays. I'm not too sure how many people actually watched that video, but the last time I looked, it was at 100. A number of people have subscribed, so I think we're up to like 42 subscribers. So thanks everyone for subscribing to the channel. So the feedback was really good. What they said was that they liked the dynamics between myself and you. People love that dynamics. They like the subject matter. They wanted more of the subject. People was giving me their opinions in terms of, they agreed. Some agreed about the multiple dating. Some people were saying about the emotions, like what my cousin Vivine was saying about being connected to people emotionally. That will be challenging for them because they deal with rejection really badly. So yeah, it was just a really good points that people came back to me with, and also gave me lots of ideas for other topics.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you guys can put that in the chat as well. You know, anything that is close to your heart, you know, or wanting to see us talk about that. And if we've got, you know, as Debbie always says, we've got a wealth of knowledge and experience, you know, good, bad, and indifferent. Please do put it in the chat, and we'll cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. So could you go ahead and do the housekeeping? You can go ahead and let people know more about.
So one of the things that Debbie always says is that, yes, and it's actually true. I had to retract what I said. We're experts in our field, you know, in respects of saying that our experiences has brought us to this place. So at the end of the day, we don't have doctorships and honors and all of this, but the experience. So some of the things that we say, you know, if you take it, you take it, and hopefully it will help you in your relationships or even your thought processing, you know, but don't hold us responsible.
Yeah.
Don't shoot we, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. So hopefully, as Debbie said, that this will be. I don't think I said it. I think I said it, not you. This will be refreshing for you all. A little bit tongue-tied. I've been driving all day. Yeah. From West Yorkshire to Nottingham to get my family, bring them down to London. So if I seem a bit flustered and please just bear with me, okay? I'll find my feet.
Yeah. So my disclaimer is basically, this is the things that we've tried out. These are the things that we have done. It's worked for us. It's not worked for us. We're going to share with you the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked. We're going to be really honest. We're going to be hot, as they say, humble, honest, and transparent. We are literally going to be like that. I'm not here to prove a point. You know, what I don't know, I will go away and I'll research. You know, my catchphrase is literally, I don't know everything, but what I do know, I will share with you. So the disclaimer is that we're just sharing this from experience, and we hope that, like Paul said, it will absolutely enrich your life and benefit you. So let's get cracking with the subject, Paul.
Yes. Yeah. Lust versus love. You know, a lot of I was saying to someone yesterday, actually, meeting someone, and within a week they said to me, because obviously my experience from the past, said to me within a week that they love me. And I remember I said to them, how can you love me and you don't know me? And excuse me, and because from my perspective, you're lusting me, you know, whether we've been intimate or not. You know, this thing of love at first sight, what is that you love? What is it you loved about someone you didn't actually speak to? You know, so if you're looking at him or her, I think personally that it's a lust thing. You know, I'm just gonna. I was doing a little research, and one of the definitions or a statement that was put out there, it says lust is defined as a strong desire for something or someone. An example of lust is the feeling a guy or woman feels when he looks at an attractive person, or she looks at an attractive man like myself. And it says an example of lust is a strong desire for a sleek new car. Lust means a feeling strong desire for someone or something, especially of a sexual nature. You know, some people may agree with that. Some people may not agree with that, you know. But I personally think that when you see, you lust, you like, you want, you know, not in all cases that you want, but, you know, we're talking about that you see something or someone that you're actually attracted to, you know. So you're attracted to them. Is it love? You know, is it love at first sight? You see them and then this feeling comes over you. Woo, I'm in love. You know, as I said, I personally think that you cannot love what you don't know. I was giving an example of someone saying, oh, I love, like, okay, I use me. I love the look of, Aston Martins. I love Aston Martins. Okay. I can now say that because I've driven it. driven 2 of them, and it was a beautiful drive. But say it was a Maserati, and I say, oh, I love it. No, I love the look of it. I have not experienced driving it, so how can I love what I've not experienced? You know. But please comment, people. Please comment. You know. What about you, Debbie? How do you feel about the lust? But I'm going to say something about that as well.
Marshallette said, love is tossed about too easily. We often mistake love for our desires. Absolutely. So yes. the definition is really important. I think that when you are looking at any word, it's important to really get the definition and the understanding of what that word actually means. And the word love is tossed about, like Marshallette said, very just tossed about. Basically, if you think about somebody saying, I love fish and chips, I love your hair, I get that all the time. People say, I love your hair, you know, I love your outfit, I love. Really, it's not love. And the thing is, because it is tossed about so much, when people are defining what it is that they think is love, it's a warped perspective. It's contaminated with all of these things that we experience in the world. It's so contaminated that we will say that we love someone outside of the actual definition of love. Now, I was saying to Paul that because we are Christians, our definition of love comes from 1 Corinthians, and I'll read that to you in a little while, because love, the definition of love in its entirety, in its purest form, I believe comes from the word of God. And so for us to really love someone, we would have to align ourselves with that in order that people would actually feel love, because God is love. He is pure. When he tells us,
whether you believe in God or not, you know, because some of you may not.
It's not even a believe in God thing. It's just the purest form of love, because love is not self-seeking. It doesn't. Now, when you lust after something, I can lust after, like Paul was saying, a car. I can lust after a house. I can lust after these things because it's from your flesh. It's your desires in your flesh. It's the feeling that you feel you want something. You see it and you want it. That's how it is, you know. And so I don't know about you guys, but there's times when you could be just going past a shop and you might see a really nice outfit. This is probably to the ladies. You see a really nice outfit and it's just like, I just want.
Us as well.
Yeah, because Paul loves clothes. I just want that outfit. It's you having that desire, that strong desire to want to get that thing. Now, if you see someone and you have that strong desire that you really want to be with them, am I saying that it is wrong? No, I'm not saying that it is wrong. Neither one of us think that lusting is wrong, but you have to put it in its right context, especially if you're lusting after someone's husband or someone's wife, you know. You know, you have to put it in its rightful place. But to lust is to have that strong desire for that thing. Now, I personally think that when you're in a relationship, well, maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself, but when you're in a relationship, there's that desire to lust after your partner. There's nothing wrong in that, but it's how you're lusting. You have to put this into context. And so I think that it's necessary for us to define what love is, what lusting is, and what we can do in any area of our lives in order to put it in the right categories so that we're not doing stuff out of sync. So while you go ahead and share next, Paul, I'm going to go ahead and you might want to read out those messages. I'm going to go ahead and bring up 1 Corinthians and let us look at the purest form of love. And the thing is, with you loving someone, and this is a conversation that me and Paul's had several times, with you loving someone, you're not really able to love someone in their whole entire in your whole entirety until you are actually loving yourself.
That's right.
You have to be loving yourself first in order for you to love that person. And I'm gonna tell you why in a little while. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. Well, Sharon says, what would you say is the difference between lust and infatuation? Is it, as Paul said, lust is sexual, and infatuation is more what our minds conjure up about the person? You know what, Sharon? You can have an infatuation that becomes kind of overbearing, you know, on someone. You see, you lust, you want, and then now you're infatuated by this person. It can go the wrong way, you know. So I think that they are two different things: infatuation and love. Infatuation goes that little bit deeper on that want and that need for the person, or the desire for someone. In my opinion, let me just read this as well, because it kind of covers some of what you're saying. It's another person who has given an example of lust: an intense longing, craving, a lust to succeed, B, enthusiasm, eagerness, admired, his lust for life. 3, a pleasure, delight. You know, another expert says, can lust become love? Absolutely. You know, I don't believe that, as I said, from my opinion, that you go straight from meeting someone, loving them. I believe that you can go from lust, getting to know the person, and you start liking certain elements of this individual, and then you go on to say, you know what, I love how they speak. I love how they communicate with me. I love how they're warm. I love how they're considerate, you know, and it just goes on. The list just goes on. And because you're spending time with that person, and they're kind of like that checklist in you, they're checking off these things that you can now say, you know what, not in every, no, you're checking off the list. Let me stay there for a second. You know, that you can say, I love this person. And
so are you saying that
you don't mind the good, bad, and indifferent? Because
so you're saying that people are going from lust to love?
This is what one of the experts says. They said that it says, can lust become love? Relationship experts agree lust can turn into love. It says, but warn that feeling, lust does not guarantee an eventual loving relationship. So it's not guaranteed that it's going to get to a loving relationship. Sometimes lust can lead to love and is often experienced within a loving relationship. And I like that bit, because when you finish saying that, there's an element about that I believe comes in a relationship. Lust should not die. Let me put that first of all. Lust should not die in a relationship.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. Marshalette said, we have been influenced by Hollywood. People meet, and by the end of 120 minutes, they are in love and happily ever after. Love is a process. Absolutely. It's true. In 120 minutes, so much actually happens, and people find themselves deeply in love, you know, and with that person forever and a day. So, I believe that infatuation is that intenseness of desire, which can also, infatuation can be really warped and twisted, where people become stalkers, where people become, you know, really obsessed with you. And I believe that is the difference between like lusting and infatuation. Infatuation is like a short burst, but really high energy, like full on to be with that person, like to the point that there's people just like wanting to die, you know, if they can't have that person. You know, we've seen it where musicians, rock stars and all that, where women are throwing their underpants and they're screaming, and you know,
underpants. I never knew women wear underpants in the back. I know the boxer shorts. I know thongs. They're throwing them at them. Do you know what I mean? And just screaming and crying, you know, like just like totally infatuated with them. You know, I watched this thing recently where there was this woman and she got prosecuted because she would not leave this man alone. She actually thought that her and this man was in a relationship. That's infatuation, where it's like it really becomes quite twisted. Your mind is like so driven towards this person that it's really, really crazy. So could you hear that chiming in the background? Yeah, it's the messages, the messages that are coming in on the.
No, it's my messages on my WhatsApp.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sure one. I thought it was mine all the time. That's what I'm looking at.
No. Thank you.
So you've heard Webflow is cool and you're considering
what is
learning
going on
it,
here?
well, on this video, I'm going to give...
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Right, anyway.
Go on. I think you should read 1 Corinthians.
Right. So I've got it here. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 1 and following.
That's chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse
1, starting from verse 1. And I think
if you don't have a Bible, try and get a Bible, even just to read that.
Or Google it. Google it.
Even that.
So love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. Now, there's nothing crazy about that. It's just that it's a scripture in the Bible. There's nothing crazy about that. It's, when you think about it, this sounds like its purest form of love. Like, how many of us keep records of wrongs? Like, you know, where you're just like, oh, but didn't you do that a year ago? Do you know what I mean? Didn't you? And records of wrongs, like, if you're loving yourself, we even keep score on ourselves. We say, oh, do you know what? I'm so silly because it's like 5 years ago and I shouldn't even have done it. You're keeping records of wrongs with yourself. If you're keeping records of wrongs with yourself, absolutely you're going to do it with somebody else. You are going to do it with someone else. If you're not kind to yourself, if you can't even say, do you know what, I'm going to buy myself this nice outfit, I'm going to go and pamper myself. You know, if you're not loving yourself, if you're not being
forgiving yourself,
absolutely.
See, because we all make mistakes. You know, we make mistakes, you know, based upon our feelings of lust or love, you know, and you can't beat yourself up for it. I used to do that. I used to say, you know, when we go on about the other subjects that we're talking about, I'm going to cover some areas there as well. But you think I should have. But really, we should be saying, what did I learn? What did I learn? You know, even when you make the mistake, what did I learn? And it's not you become hard and anybody come, you know, but moreover that you're saying, okay, next time I take it slowly. Next time I'll be more open. Next time I'll be more transparent. Next time I won't sleep with her or him straight away. Next time, you know, I won't go and find a man in a club or a woman in a club, because some people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And some people have healthy relationships through that, and some people they're tearing out their head because every single week this woman or this man wants to go raving, but that's where you met them. So you can't, you know. So as Debbie's saying, you can't beat yourself up for decisions that you made at the time, but moreover, learn and forgive yourself and move forward.
Absolutely. So again, it says it does not boast. So when you're in a relationship with someone and all you're doing is bragging and boasting about who you are, what you've done, all these achievements, all of, you know, and you're not taking into consideration this person that you're with, you're not really showing that kind of kindness towards them. It's not proud. We know what it's like to be proud. Do you know what I mean? I was talking to someone recently about how in relationships you can experience your partner being proud, too proud, and ego slips in, where you're not taking responsibility, where you're not acknowledging the things that you actually need to acknowledge, because it's like, if I acknowledge this is going to mash up my ego. Not that it's just a man thing, but women do find, my conversation with women, they do find that a lot of men are quite proud and their ego gets in the way. Not rude, non-negotiable. Like, I think that if you are being rude to somebody, like when you say the word rude, people just think it's a pitney thing, isn't it? Like they're rude, you know. But you can be rude to somebody, just rude. I was just thinking, rude ada. Yeah, just rude to people, just not nice, just the way you speak to them. And I think that when you look at it, and I want you guys to look at it, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 1 and following up to, I think it's like 4. I think it's up to 4. But I think it's a good template for us to look at and say, am I loving myself in accordance to this? And don't get me wrong, it's hard. It is hard. This is what I aspire to match up to.
That's right.
This is what I really want to do for myself in my marriage. This is what I aspire in my life, you know. And do I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. But
No.
have an aspiration, have something that you're aiming towards to make sure that you're loving the person. So you was going to speak about loving and lusting in a relationship, wasn't you?
Yeah. I think that when you especially when you meet somebody, as I said to Debbie, you know, you meet somebody. Actually, before we do that, there's a comment in there. A lot of people from the Jace 94. Just want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much for commenting, and please put something in the chat, and we'll read it out. You know, or try and cover whatever whatever subjects you put up there. We'll take it on board and do that. So they said a lot of people are fantasists when it comes to love, and I agree. It is a process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, love is a process. You know, matter of fact, when you're even in lust, that's still a process in itself. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, because it's not. You're going to go through different stages anyhow. But what I was going to say, and what me and Debbie was talking about, and what I personally feel, I think that a lot of I'm going to use marriage for example, and we will cover this again when we do talk about marriage, and we'll go a little bit deeper. We meet somebody, and I think most of us will agree it's not love at first. It's not love just at the first hurdle. We need to always bring that into your relationship, your marriage, or your togetherness with. Anyway, let me leave that alone there. Yeah, yeah, because I have views, you know. But you meet somebody and you lust, and the reason why I say you should still have lust in a marriage or in your relationship is because that was what attracted you. You were fighting to, you know, not just put your best foot forward. You're looking and you're saying, hey, you know, and whether you're taking her or him out to dinner. Yes, I did say that, him out to dinner. Whether you're buying him flowers or he's buying you flowers. Yes, I did say that as well, because I do believe that, you know, the first time I got a bouquet, I listen, if you ever wanted to see a black man blush, that was the day. And she sent it to my workplace. And everybody's looking at me and I'm like, oh my goodness me. And it's I'm not even talking about like a couple of roses. No, this was a big bouquet. It was like, whoa, you know.
That's awesome.
My wife has bought me a bouquet, you know, because I appreciate the effort, you know. And so I do believe that lust should continue in your marriage, not like, you know, girl, him, you know, took off your clothes, and if that's how you was talking in the first place, you know.
And why did you just go into this Jamaican accent?
Do you know what? I don't know, you know. It's something that happens.
Why?
You know?
Take off your clothes. Like all of a sudden you become a yardie.
Maybe memories in the past. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Forgive me. You know, but what I'm saying. No, do you know what? There's a funny joke about that. I'm going to just say it really quickly. Someone said to me, why is it that every time, I think it was actually my wife that said, why is it when you meet every black person, doesn't matter where they're from, you start talking Jamaican? You know, they're from Africa. It's not like I say, hey, my brother, how are you? You know, it's straight to Patrick. You all right, though? You know, and they kind of look at you like, what did you say? But anyway, that's just an inside joke.
I know.
You know, but I do believe that you need to keep that alive, because if you keep that lust feeling without going overboard, it's healthy in a relationship. It's very, very healthy in a relationship. If that's obsolete, then, you know, you get too comfortable. You know, I don't need to run a bar for you anymore. I don't need to come up behind you and smack your bottom. I don't have to, you know, or her or him. I'm not gonna grope you anymore. You know, you see each other and it's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Sailing.
Little peck. Yeah. Sometimes you need to just. That's a whole different ballgame. I'm even going to go into that because I'm going to cover that in marriage, or I might cover that as a separate thing anyway. But
we're talking about lust within a relationship.
Yeah.
So it is within a marriage.
It is within a marriage. Yeah.
It's like what I totally agree with is you being with that person, you meeting that person, and you lusting after that person, and you continue that throughout the marriage. I think that one of the worst things is that you lose that you don't have that hunger, you don't have that desire, you don't have that, you know, thrill that is coming from that person. I think it's terrible when you lose it. And I think that the misconception is the word lust is a negative, has a negative connotation to it,
especially from a Christian standpoint as well. I think
especially in a Christian standpoint, when you use the word lust, you're backslidden. Like, do you know what I mean? Don't even use that word in any capacity. But I think that it's because of that misconception, people are just like, oh, I can't lust after my husband, I can't lust after my wife. Like, bring it on, because I lust after my husband.
Because I think they miss.
I'm not even questioning that.
Sorry, Debbie. I think they miss the understanding of what the lust is.
Yeah, that's why I said it's important to understand the words that you're actually using in its entirety. Do you get what I mean? If you understand the words that you're actually using and you break it down, you will put it, you'll compartmentalize it, and you'll put it in its right place and use it when it should be. Because if you just turn around and say, oh, that's what I was doing prior to me falling in love with this person, now that I'm in love with them, I can no longer do that. Then you and that person's going to be missing out on that spice. Do you get what I mean? Because it's that spice that causes that strong desire, you know, to remain within the relationship. This is where you continue to do the things that you did in the beginning that attracted you to that person. That person continues to do it. It's like, after, you know, you're a woman, when you first meet your husband, you know, and you're in your honeymoon period, after you get married and everything, you're wearing the sexy underwear, the thongs and everything. Then after that, you're wearing one headscarf,
pajamas,
face, you know, some big panty drawers, some, you know, some dressing gown or night dress right down to your ankles. No,
but when you met that person,
burning. Or he's wearing like he's some old granddad. Let me not the old granddad pajamas and all kind of madness. Do you get what I mean? So you have to really instill within yourself that I'm going to continue to give the thing to my husband, to my wife, that they actually desire from me the most. And I think that you should be very vocal with that as well, not just assume that, oh, because we're married and we're settled and everything, that's kind of cool. I think it's really vocal. It's good for you to be vocal, to say, I miss that. Do you get what I mean? What's going on there with the panties up to the waist, or, you know, with the granddad pajamas?
I'm cold.
Be vocal, because otherwise you just become complacent, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I think, and one of the reasons why we talk about marriage as opposed to just talking about being with somebody is because of our Christian values. Just want to put it out there. So if you're not in a marriage, you know, we're not condemning you, you know, at all. You know, we're not excluding you, because all these things are still part of it.
The process.
You know, you may not ever want to get married, but then again, you may want to get married, him or her. Because I don't think that just living together forever and ever is, you know, that's it. You know, I think having a day that this is showing everybody, this is it, this is our commitment. We're totally committed to one another, and we're going to press on through whatever we need to press on through. You know, if I went back to you know, meeting the first person that I married, you know, would I have married based upon the way that I think now? You know, it's good to go through the process. I can tell you that now. It's so good to go through the process. But I just wanted to put that out there. So if you're not married, we're not saying to you, you know, it's our Christian values that we believe that if you're with somebody and to show your commitment, you know, 100%, you know, you want to be with this person, you marry.
Yeah, your aim, because otherwise it's you're just doing and you're just going along. And like I was saying last week, in terms of like dating, like dating multiple people, you have an aim, you have something that you're looking forward to. So what the reason why you're dating isn't just that you can have like all these tick lists and say, oh, I dated X amount of women or X amount of men, but rather you're doing that with the intentions to find the right mate. And so excuse me, if you're dating people and you don't have an aim, then you're literally just putting yourself out there. And like some of the women was saying last week, you're just going to end up getting hurt. And this goes for men as well. Even though men's mindset is like they come across, let me not say their mindset, they come across like they got this really, strong demeanor. But that's what they like to put on the outside. They like to come across like, yeah, I'm just strong and I'm just bold and I can hold this down. But they're just like us in terms of like the emotions. They do feel, they do experience that intense rejection and so forth. And so it's important that regardless whether it's a man or whether it's a woman, that you're dating with an intention, because somebody will end up getting hurt. If you set the boundaries, like I was saying last week, and you make it very clear to this person that you're looking for your suitor, you're looking for your mate, you're looking for that person, then there's no wires that are crossed. They're not thinking that you're putting all in on this particular person, that they will be very clear that, you know what, I'm looking for the right person.
Yeah,
I'm going on several dates. But if you don't explain that to that person and they're putting 100 in, it's going to impact them. Definitely going to impact them.
Do you want to read those comments, Debbie? And then I'm going to say something on that.
Yeah. So Sharon put 2 comments in there and said, I agree with Debbie and the Jace 94. Love is a process. I remember saying to myself some time ago, love is when at the end of all the ups and downs in life, a couple can still say we love each other. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
First one has to accept and love oneself. Only then can truly love
one can
truly love another without losing oneself in the relationship. Yeah, that's absolutely important. You hit on a key point, and this is something that I'm going to be sharing in the coming weeks in terms of losing yourself in a relationship. Sorry, guys, about my background. It's quite dark. I was trying to get the light up here. Losing oneself in a relationship. The only reason why you lose yourself in a relationship is because you don't know who you are. If you know who you are, then you don't actually lose yourself in a relationship, because you'll stand firm on who you are.
And going off of what you were saying before, I remember being on a date with, I made up my mind that I wouldn't be friends with women, as opposed to everything else, I was meeting and it was sexual, straight into sex. I said, right, this is what I'm going to do some years ago. And I said, I'm going to be friends with women first. And then, if it's going to progress, then so be it. And I remember going on this date. My mum had to look after my son because it was, my son was with me. And things were running late. I think mummy came late, Debbie. I lived at Milford then. And I'm ringing the person and I'm saying to them, look, I'm running a bit late because I'm cooking for my mum. You imagine, you hear this man saying he's cooking for his mum and his son. Now, surely that should have been a
good thing.
A good thing, because I do like cooking, I'm all right. But no, she said, I've been waiting all these hours for you, and I got myself ready. And I tell you something, I took a deep breath, because what I was going to say is, I tell you what, nobody meet me. Yeah. You go on, you dress, go and find somebody to date with, go on a date with, or go out and date yourself. But I said, no, you know what? I understand the outbursts, because the frustration and the wanting to have all of this, no, not really, the frustration of wanting to go out on a date with somebody, and it's been delayed, but there should have been understanding there. Anyway, we went on the date and we came back and parked up, and I decided that, you know what, I'm going to make sure I'm transparent. And I'd said to her, to be honest, you're a lovely lady and everything else like that. But I want to let you know that I want to be friends with women. She said, women. I said, yeah, women, including you, as opposed to anything else. I want to go out on dates. This is where I like what you was doing. I want to go on dates and, and get to know people, and then I'll know who I want to be with. Do you know, she cussed me off? She cussed me off because she didn't understand. But guess what? It told me she was not the one.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
That's I'm bouncing off of what you're saying. You need to, from the offset, say what it is that you're looking. Listen, don't compromise because you've been on your own. Yeah? Who you are. know who you are, know what it is that you're looking for, know what you want in a relationship with someone, yeah, him or her, and stick to that. You know, my wife said she had a list of what she was looking for in a man, and maybe some of the lists she probably forgot, because when she looks now, she think backside, I didn't want that bit there. Yeah, why have I got that bit? You know, but she was praying about the type of man that she wanted, from head to toe, everything. You know, and when obviously dating her, she said to me, and I fit that bill, and it was like, wow. You know, don't know what she'd say today. We will not have her as a guest. No, we will.
We won't have her as a guest. Vivine was saying that your mouth was caught up with the video, and I was saying,
yeah,
you're at my house. I paid the bills, Vivine. Last week, I don't know what was going on. It was just some crazy trying to catch up.
Well, I'm in South now, so you know.
Yeah, he's at mine, so it's working really well. Yeah, so I just wanted to like piggyback off of that. I think that when you're desiring a relationship with someone, and you find like that person might not have caught up with you, in terms of that person might still be in the lust zone and you might have moved on into the love zone, it can be difficult and it can be challenging, because what you're requiring is for that person to be on the same page with you. And so if you find yourself in a situation like that, there's only one or two things that you can actually do. You can actually back away, so that you're not going to get your emotions so entangled with that person, because that person hasn't yet caught up with you, or you can wait for that person to catch up. It's totally down to you how you're going to navigate through that, because everyone isn't going to be on the same page at the same time. And I think it's important for you to understand that, you know, when you identify that within a person. I had a conversation with someone today, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, because her and the person's at different levels. So the whole intention was companionship, and now she's starting to have expectations from this person. Now, I was saying this is because feelings have gotten in there. You know, if there is no feelings, the expectation is not going to come. You can just ride the storms together. Whether they come, they come. If they don't come, they don't come, and you're cool. But when you get to a place where you now are starting to get feelings for that person, you can only do one or two things: either back up, or and meet that person at where they're at. Like, when I say back up, I mean, don't have such high expectations of them falling for you so quickly. I think maybe you can answer this, Paul. I personally think most women fall for men quicker than men fall for women. I think that men will probably have more of an intense desire, which is lust, for a longer period of time than a woman. What do you say?
See, I think it's my experience. Yeah, I think it's an individual thing, and because as I said earlier on, I've had a woman say to me, as I said, in a week, "I love you," you know, and I rejected that. And I know that I've met somebody and thought, "Wow, oh my goodness me," almost ecstasy, and all what wants to come out my mouth is, "I love you," but yet I know that I'm just loving being with them in the zone, and being in their presence, and all of those things, and that I'm caught up in my emotions. You know, I think I'm quite an emotional guy. I mean, for me, I realize, and any guys out there needs to be a balance in us, where you are masculine and at the same time you're gentle. See, people say feminine. I have an opinion on that. That I think when you've grown with your mum and your dad, I think, you know, if your dad is a leader, as he should be, you end up getting both of those things. You know, I learned how to be a man. You know, not having our dad around 24/7. You know, and so my influence came from a lot of emotional things from my mum, or from a woman's perspective. But then she grew with her with our granddad as well. So there were elements of him in her from her dad. So he influenced her life. So those things flooded over. And you've got to. Well, I found that I needed to navigate them and get them in par. And when I was younger, I was more weepy and emotional, and she don't want to go out with me anymore. She don't want to see me anymore. But I realized that that's life. Someone decides that they don't want to be with you. Why are you crying? I'm hurt. Yes, you feel rejected. Yes, you do that. But you actually have to move forward. And so I'm not saying that that's what makes you masculine. I'm just saying that there's a balance in being firm and assertive and being a man, and at the same time being gentle with a woman, and allowing the feelings that we have, because as Debbie said rightfully, we do have feelings. We do feel rejected. We do feel hurt. We're put on an exterior, or sometimes it's not. It's now a way of life. I ain't gonna let no woman do that to me. You're mad. Yeah, I love that one, and that's how she carried on. And women do exactly the same thing. Well, that was that person that done it. Yeah. Doesn't mean that every woman or every man is going to do the same thing. They might do similar, but they're not the same person. I had to learn that, and I again, I'm going to elaborate on that in marriage and divorce as well.
So you would say that
it's an individual thing.
It's an individual thing.
Yeah, it's an individual thing. It's more of an individual thing. I've been there. I know men that have been there, and women as well. So
I think it's kind of hard to gauge it, because a lot of men don't really want to express that to women, or even to their brethren. They don't really want to express, how they think and feel more so. Like, women are more open with their friends. They're more.
Do you think that's younger people or older people?
I think both. I think both. I don't think that it's just the younger generation. I think that the younger generation are seeming to be more expressive about their feelings, but again, it varies from wherever you are. So if you was to like with myself, work with some of these young people in college, in prisons and stuff, it's you having a conversation with them and you being really transparent that they will give a little. Do you get what I mean? They will start to open up. And I think that it's a conversation to have in terms of why men don't open up as much as women do within their relationships. But I think that primarily for me, my experience has been that when it comes to the lust tends to last longer with the men than what it does with the women. The women quickly change gears and go into love mode. And I think that for a lot of women, their understanding of love and lust is kind of merged. Do you get what I mean? So with a man, from my experience, they can say, yeah, like I'm on her, like I really check for her kind of thing. But a woman, it's kind of like the lust and the love is kind of merging together really, simultaneously. Like they're it can be like lusting and loving at the same time, until they really understand what they're actually doing and got their foot in. But again, I've had so many conversations with women, and when they've told me like how they're feeling, I'm like, that doesn't mean that you love that person just yet. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, no, but I really feel like if I love them, and I'm like, it might feel like that, but there's elements to what you're saying that says that you're still in that lust zone.
Would you say that the
background's just getting darker and darker? Sorry, I was trying to get the light.
Moving to another place. Do you think, can you lust after someone never meeting them? Well, as in, you see them.
That would be kind of social media kind of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course you can.
Without meeting them, absolutely, of course you can. Yeah, I would say that you can, based upon because remember, lust is that strong
desire.
To want someone.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So you can have that strong desire to want someone and you've never ever met them before in your life. You might not even have seen them, but based upon the conversation, all the stuff that they're telling you, you know, we know about fish.
Yeah, you're right, because it can be, you know, hearing what you want, you know, what you're hearing, you're like, wow, yeah, you know what? Oh, he's so nice, you know, but you never seen him. And then you see him and you think, or you see her and you oh gosh. And now, do you now go from that love feeling to let me out?
No, because you know what, you're right. Because if you're doing this internet dating and this person has been saying all the most amazing things, and I know that this has happened to more than one person, and I know it certainly for one person that I personally know, and they was like having these conversations, amazing conversations, really, really good. Heard the person's voice sounds like velvet, just, you know, it's just it just sounds sweet, it just sounds so good, like a Barry White, do you know what I'm saying? And then they met the person, everything that they felt just went. And prior to that, they was telling me, I think I've fallen in love with this person. So you know that was a strong desire of lust, because when you met the person, you kind of said the person looked like the Elephant Man. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and you was just like, I had no idea.
That's right.
That this is, they had a whole idea of how this guy looked. Do you get what I'm saying? Based upon what he said, based upon. And the thing is, she never ever asked that person to show their attributes. So what I actually said to them was, did it really matter that they looked like how they looked then? Because if you really fell in love with that person, did it really matter? And they was like, held to the no, like, yes, it did matter. It mattered a lot. I'm conscious of time because we've actually just gone hour over. I literally just saw it just go into the hour. Let me just read these quick words from, I think that's meant to be wizard, isn't it? I think the way how it's spelled, maybe it looks like it.
Where's that one? Oh, right. Okay, from the person.
So can you lust after someone? We answered that one. For an extended period of time, lust and love is synonymous with some people. What about even after death? Lusting after someone after death? Love, I can't see how you lust after someone after death, but love, absolutely. And then they laughed, and then oops, I don't know if that's because they said after death, like lust. I'm not too sure. But final words.
No, that was trouble. That was Vivian.
Oh right.
Oh, because whoops about the Elephant Man.
Oh right. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, to wrap up, what Debbie and I said earlier on is that we believe that the dating thing, there's a part 2, and I believe that there'll be a part 2 to this as well. You know, and please subscribe, leave messages on there, and we will read them and carry on with the subjects. If you have a subject, we'll cover that. If you're single and you're going to date, make yourself available. Make yourself available to date. Get to know people. Go places you wouldn't normally go. You know, and you know, maybe we will cover something about we will, about whether you should date in your own race as well. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, that was a conversation I was having just this week. Last week.
So I would just say, take your time. Take your time. Make yourself available. Him, her. Get to know people, and
you saying that in regards to the dating?
Say again?
You saying that in regards to the lust or the dating?
I'm saying even during that lust period as well. You know, don't rush. Don't rush into this of having those feelings and saying straight away, I love you, and it's a week. You know, it's the next day. I love you. You only met me yesterday. You know, it can scare men off, and it can scare women off as well. You know, I'm not saying you sit on this feeling forever and a day, but there is an appropriate time where it just flows. Let from the lust to the love, let it flow. Unless you just want to lust. If you just want to lust, then keep in your lane. You know, if you're looking for love, you know, then just take your time. Take your time. And as Debbie said, know yourself. Get to know who you are. That's all from me.
Yeah. I'm really sorry about this dark room. I just didn't really think about that, and I was trying to get assistance, but my assistant ain't working tonight. But I'll make sure it's totally set up next week. So my final words on lust versus love. I think that it's good to have both of them, especially within your relationship. I don't think you should ever make the lust die. I think that you should just grow to love that person and incorporate, you know, the things that we were saying in First Corinthians. I think that it's important for us to understand the two, and really just look at it from a perspective of if you've just started out in a relationship and you really have this strong desire to identify that it is lust, try not to go down the infatuation route because it's too intense and it's too much for an individual. Like, you will overwhelm somebody with infatuation. But I would say, you know, if you just fall into that category of just lusting that person and just continually lusting after them, it will be hard for you to incorporate the love. But the lust and the love, I think, should be, you know, running concurrently, both in your relationship on into marriage. I don't think it should ever die. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that, and I hope that this has been of benefit to you all, and thank you so much once again for all of you that have joined us. It's really important for us to get your feedback, so you can follow us on Instagram. We are at Gym Time on Instagram. You can follow us there, and also you can follow us on here, subscribe. Please share the link. I know that a lot of people might not be able to make it on at that time. People are putting their kids to bed and all sorts, but the link that you found to come on here, you can share that. It will take them straight to this, well, to YouTube, and they will be able to watch it over. A lot of people watch the video after who couldn't make it on the night. So thank you for, you know, your time. Thank you for coming on and engaging with us. Thank you. I can see our sister on there. She's saying well done to both of us. And
thank you.
What do you say? You were disappearing. You said I'm disappearing. Yeah, my assistant actually came and actually helped me, but they just literally just put the light and just walked off. So that didn't really help much. But yeah, so I really appreciate you guys.
They're flashing the light now.
No, do you know where it is? I actually just plugged it in myself.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Look at that.
Look at that. Huh? Should we start again?
Start all over
Thank
again.
you, everybody. Thank you so much. And as Debbie said, please share and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, you know, and love to you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Look out for the link.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.